שנייה, תגידי לי מה אנחנו שומעים. אנחנו כאן השארתי את התיק שלי, יופי. מאחריי, לא. רואים את השידור? את רואה את השידור? והמיקרופון זה מזה? זה מהמיקרופון? שומעת מהמיקרופון? אוקיי. תגידי עוד פעם. עצרת לשחרור החטופים, 275 ימים. אני פה מחליף את לימור. אנחנו בעצרת לשחרור החטופים, 275 ימים. בשבי החמאס. אני לא רשמי מספיק, והנה אני מכוון. היי, מה נשמע? הלו. כן, שנייה. מה זאת אומרת? את צוחקת עליי, את רואה אותי כרגע? אז ביי. היי, מה העניינים? בסדר. תגידי, יש אפשרות שאני אדביק את זה לשם ליד המיקרופון או משהו?
אם איפה אתה רוצה, אם לא רואים.
ככה לפחות תשמעו פעם אחת. טוב.
Joe, can we have you here? We're going to start in a minute, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming. We try to get as much shade as possible. We've been in the Vancouver Art Gallery. This is our 40th week, unfortunately. So in the summer, this area is tremendously busy. The north and the south. In the winter, we were privileged, I can't even say that, for the cause, to be on our own. So that's why we are every week on the north side. So this was the ideal place to be at today. I would like to start with Joe Markovich. He'll be playing a guitar, and then we'll have our speakers. Thank you. If you can come down, those of you who don't have umbrellas can find some shade. This is amazing. This is what a strong community looks like. We have one cause, a big cause, and it doesn't matter if you're right or left, we're all to bring them home now. After this rally, we will be marching. We'll be leaving up the stairs here, and I will lead, and down on East Georgia Street, up on Jervis, back on Robson. That would probably be about 30 minutes. So I'm giving the stage to Joe Markovich. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, that's not good. Testing 1, 2. Come down. Would everyone, Daphne's asked, if everyone would please come down. We want to really have community all together here in one place. Pick up a poster on your way down or a flag. Show your support for Israel. Show your support for the hostages. Alam kulo geshet sameot geshet sameot geshet sameot kol haolam kulo geshet sameot geshet sameot והיית, הולכת, והיית, הולכת. This entire world is a very narrow bridge. It's a very narrow bridge. It's a very narrow bridge. But the main thing is not to fear at all. Not to fear at all. לא לפחד כאן, והיית, לא לפחד כאן.
I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. 275 day, 9 month, and 40 week to our weekly rally. Who would have imagined that this day will come and the hostages have not yet returned? Mothers of hostages joined tens of thousands of Israelis in the hostages square and reports of a potential deal to return all hostages in making 9 months. Everyone, I know this is also socializing, but please pay attention, and I ask you to keep quiet. We can do this on our walk, we can do this before, we can do this after. The event focused on mothers who have been waiting 9 months for their loved ones' return, the living for rehabilitation, and the murdered for proper burial. We missed the opportunity to bring our children back. We urge the Israeli government and all parties to stand firmly behind its proposed deal. We call on the mediators and the international community to pressure Hamas to accept the deal and release all hostages immediately. True independence means freedom for all. We can't lose this moment. Orit Meir, mother of Almog Meir, Jan, who was rescued from Hamas captivity. I got Almog back without a deal. An operation and bravery brought him back. He's one of 7 rescued since that cursed Shabbat. For the 120 hostages, only pen and paper will do the job. We have a strong army, brave soldiers and commanders, but now leadership must make the right move. They must sign a deal, and now. This is the first rally I've attended in 4 weeks. Every Saturday until Almog was returned, I stood here on stage holding his picture, helplessly looking around at my fellow mothers, but there's work to be done. We must continue and not give up, perhaps make compromises because lives are more important than anything. We must continue so my fellow mothers can embrace the living, and sadly some will find solace in placing a flower on their children's graves. We have no time to waste, no privilege to wait, delay, or hesitate. 9 months is already longer than creation. 9 months is the time to bring everyone home now. Ifat Heyman, mother of Inbar Heyman, who was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas. I carried Inbar in my womb for 9 very difficult months, but the last 9 months is suffering and pain that cannot be contained. I gave birth to Inbar in a very difficult labor, and she was a precious gift for only 27 years. My Inbar lies in Gaza. I want my Inbar returned for eternal rest close to me so I can light a candle for her and cry at her grave. This is the least I ask, the least I demand from the Israeli government. Bring my Inbar back to me. Bring her back, because every day I am murdered anew. Hamas captivity survivor Daniel Aloni at Hostages Square. Don't sacrifice my brother-in-law and the rest of the hostages. Daniel Aloni was released from Hamas captivity along with her daughter Amelia after 49 days, spoke at the mass rally in Hostages Square. Her sister Sharon Cunha was released with her 3-year-old twin daughters Emma and Yuli after 52 days. Sharon's husband David remains in Hamas captivity. This is Daniel's speech. Thank you for coming every week to cry in the name of the hostages who cannot speak for themselves. Tonight, we're at a special rally symbolizing the mother's cry, but there's one mother who can't cry out for her children languishing at Hamas captivity. This mother name is Shiri Bibas. Shiri can't cry out. She's not allowed. She's speaking is forbidden in captivity, let alone crying out. As someone who spent 49 days Hamas captivity with a young child in dark tunnels, I know exactly what Shiri is going through. For 49 days, I had to lie to Amelia and create a cover story. What we were doing in the tunnel, who the armed terrorists were, and why we weren't going home. But Shiri has been captive 6 times longer than we suffered there. Lies are no longer possible. Worse, perhaps Kfir and Ariel no longer remember any other reality. I don't know how long Amelia and I would have survived in Hamas tunnels if we hadn't been released after 49 days. No child or adult should experience this. Their place is here with us in Israel. If Sherry can't cry out for them, we, dear audience, we'll do it for them. And Sherry isn't the only woman. Other women are wasting away in captivity with her. 9 months, exactly the time it takes to bring children into the world. They shouldn't be mothers now, certainly not like this. They desperately need their own mother's embrace. As you probably know, my brother-in-law David is still there. My sister Sharon parted from him 7 months ago. That's an incredibly long time. I miss him, Sharon and I, the girls. We can't wait any longer. I call from here to the Prime Minister and the cabinet members, you must not miss this opportunity to bring them back. David and the other 119 hostages, give the negotiation team room to maneuver and return with a deal. No citizen in Israel lives with this peacefully, regardless of their political stance. Everyone is immersed in deep sorrow. Attempting to turn the deal into a political game and musical chairs, thereby sabotaging it, is a fundamental violation of moral principle. Don't sacrifice David and all the other hostages because of ulterior motives. And I would like to call our first speaker. John First worked in the forestry industry for over 20 years, funding his tech company in that space. He was later elected to public office as a school board trustee and then as an MLA, where he eventually became Minister of Aboriginal Relations and Reconciliation. Under BC Premier Christy Clark is that role has signed over 400 agreements with First Nations. Today, John Rustad is now the leader of Province Conservative Party of BC and is the elected MLA for Navchako Lakes, a district he has represented in the legislature since 2005. Please, MLA John Rustad. Thank you.
Thanks very much. It's an honor to be able to be here today. I'm marking this occasion, and I have to admit, I sure wish that we were here on different circumstances. 9 months is too long. 1 month, 1 day is too long, quite frankly, for anybody that's had to go through with this. I find it hard, you know, when I start thinking about what happened 9 months ago, how innocent people were just ripped into terror by what's went on, by what happened there with sheer terrorism. I mean, for the families, for the individuals, and really for all the people, both Jewish and non-Jewish alike. That should never happen. It should never be allowed. And I'm proud to say that I stand here with you. I stand against that terrorism. I stand against Hamas and what they have done. Here in British Columbia, government needs to do more. People who come to this province to live here, come here with the expectation to be able to live in peace. They come here with the expectation to be able to raise a family, to be able to build a future. And what we're seeing today is the anti-Semitism that is happening, with the hate that is happening throughout our communities. I just find completely wrong. Government needs to step up to the plate. And I can tell you something, as a conservative government, should we have that honor of forming government, we will do that. We will make sure that we stand up and we bring hate to an end in this province. There should be no place for hate. We need to make sure that in our schools, people learn their full history of what's gone on. People learn about the Holocaust. People learn about what happened here. But most importantly, that we make sure our education system teaches acceptance. Just something that should be basic for everybody that is in our society. We need actually, as a government, also to make sure that we set the tone, that we lead by example, that we make sure that within our government, within organizations, that we have no tolerance for any sort of hate, for any sort of anti-Semitism that's up. And I tell you, when I read a few weeks ago, that there was a group of teachers who wanted to build a program within our education system to teach about anti-Semitism, to teach about the Holocaust. And when the BCTF said, no, we won't fund it, we won't allow you to do that, that is just wrong. That is wrong, and we'll make sure that gets corrected. I want to take a moment to introduce the team that is here with me, and I wrote it down because there was quite a few of us that came here and that joined us as the Conservative Party that are running. I want to start with John Cooper, who is running for us here in Vancouver, Little Mountain, as well as Brian Burdett, who's running for us here in Vancouver as well. Dallas Brody, and I know you all know and love Dallas. Dallas is doing some great work for us in Vancouver, Sultana. And of course, she has been a very staunch advocate for Jewish people and for Israel. With them as well is Michelle Molyneux, who's running in Richmond, Season. Michelle, thank you for coming and being part of this. And I know Michelle wants to organize a gathering in Richmond, actually, to have a discussion on this as well. Paul Ratchford is here. Paul is running, and he's going to be running actually against David Eby in Vancouver, Point Grey. And so he is the man who's going to take out David Eby. As well as Steve Cooner. Steve Cooner is another one of our candidates from Richmond. Tom Akamanu, I should say. Tom's kind of here funding for us in one of the other ridings here in Vancouver, just over there. And of course, I want to make sure to recognize especially Eleanor Sturko, one of our MLAs from Surrey. She's also a very strong advocate of it. So it's great to have her as part of our team as well. I guess the last message I just want to send to everybody on this occasion. We should all be calling for Canada, for every government in this country to stand up and to call for the return of the hostages. Let's bring them home. Let's get them back. It is long since past time. Bring them home. 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 Definitely. Oh my God. You know, like I say, every government across this country, everybody who's in politics should have the same goal. That people should be able to live in peace, that we should bring an end to terrorism, that we should stand up and fight terrorism in whatever forms it takes. And I'll just close by saying one last thing, which is Israel has a right to exist. Thank you all for standing up and just standing for what's right. Standing up for the Jewish people, standing up to bring an end to hate, standing up for bringing people home from terrorism, standing up just for peace and civil society. Thank you so much for what you're doing every day. It's an honor to be able to be here today and share a few words. Thanks, everyone.
I would like to call our second speaker. It's going to be short. Leo Neumann, educator and filmmaker.
Okay, it will block me. First, I want to express my sorrow. My sorrow for over what happened in Israel and Gaza. The loss of innocent lives on both sides. It's something that personally pains me. And I know it pains you all. I want to call to my fellow Canadians and everyone who lives here. I'm concerned about our future here in Canada. I urge us all to act now to ensure our society isn't sinking as it looks right now. This isn't just about anti-Semitism, if that's what you thought. It's about dealing with cruelty, cancel culture, vandalism, and ignorance. Those things are not just concerned to us, the Jewish community members. It also should be concerned to any Canadian who lives here. And I give you a few examples. During a pro-Palestinians gathering at UBC, the University of British Columbia, where a Middle East professor was part of the panel, they said that we didn't proceed with the first hostage exchange deal because we, the Israelis, wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving that fell on that same day. We, the Israelis, the Jews, we wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving. I was so disappointed to see that no one of the students that were there raised their hands saying, you know what, maybe the Israelis are the bad people in this conflict, but I don't think the Jews are celebrating a North American holiday like Thanksgiving. No one, even not the professor itself that sat there. Students were unaware of basic facts, unable to Google relevant information before they wasted their time protesting about something they have zero knowledge of. Well, maybe it's because Google invented with 2 Jews, and this is part of their boycott. Good luck, student, to boycott Google. As a Jew who grew on Holocaust stories, I'm familiar with this method of propaganda and lies, but I never thought I would find it here in Canada less than 100 years later. Open your eyes, Canadian, I want to scream them, before it will be too late. People like this professor threat not only us, the Jews, but also everyone around by creating an army of foolish and bloodthirsty individuals. You should tell your Canadian friends that in a place where they burn synagogue doors, other homes' doors will be next. It's so simple to understand.